Okay, welcome to the Rise of the Last Saints. So today we are looking at how Mark Manson answers life-burning questions on Twitter. Mark Manson is the New York Times bestseller of The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck When Everything is Fucked. He's an author. So here you can see, you can visit him on Twitter. Here is the URL, and Mark Manson's website is markmanson.net. So let's dive deep into the questions. So the first question is, how do you distinguish between situations where you are experiencing temporary demotivation versus situations where you are truly not passionate about something? Most of the time I try to convince myself I'm in the former without even considering the latter. So Mark says, if you are not passionate about something, you won't appreciate the highs and you will hate the lows. If you are passionate about something, you will appreciate the lows and love the highs. Loss of motivation is temporary motivation. It's constant without it. So the next question says, what piece of advice can you give to those who feel lost? Mark says, if you have nowhere to go, then everywhere becomes the right direction. Start moving and answers will reveal themselves. Let's move on. So what's one motto or quote that keeps you motivated and productive? Mark says, the quality of your life is equivalent to your abilities to leverage time. Or, as Bruce Lee put it, do not waste time, for time is what life is made of. Another question is, ways to get over fear of abandonment. Don't get over it, manage it, ideally with your partner's help. The trick is to recognize your irrational emotional patterns and develop plans of actions when they arise to prevent you from doing or thinking dumb things. Again, partner's help will be important. Or the next question is, how to stop jumping from one thing to another every few weeks. How to keep spirits up even when not working on something. Mark says, hey, better be at sustaining boredom and disappointment. It's easy to do something when you're excited about it, but to do it when you're unexcited is what separates the pros from the amateurs. So let's keep moving. Another question is, what makes someone totally free to choose? Away from influence, away from fear, to act on their inner voice. What, in your opinion, helps in achieving this freedom? So Mark Manson says, it is impossible. None of our values, beliefs, or identities are completely our own. Like our genetics, they are a mixture of thousands of years of tradition and competition. Individuality is not separation, it's achieving the right mixture. Okay, the next question is, Twitter is a destroyer of productivity and mental health, but so many people, including yourself, rely on it to build their business. It's a two-tier system of people it helps and people it hurts, and people it helps know it. How do we reconcile that? Mark Manson says, not to sound super libertarian, I'm not, but I have discovered that the social media experience is mostly driven by how you use it. Twitter especially. I think it's important to be aggressive with unfollowing people and blocking people. Your experience gets 10 times better. That's what he says. Another question is, how do you create an environment to intentionally avoid burnout and stay productive when it is difficult to detect which things you can or should let go of or say no to? Mark says, trial and error. Remove things and see how it feels. If you perform better without them, continue without them. If you perform worse, bring them back. Another question is, what's the most valuable thing you learned or realized in life without the help of any books or guidance? Mark Manson says, there is an incredible amount of value in being willing to say what other people are not willing to say, or doing what other people are not willing to do. It's very valuable. That's what he says. Another question is, people believe in a lot of motivation. They blindly follow speakers and authors. No offense here. What's your take? How should one ideally behave or seek help from such eminent people? Any filter on it? So Mark says, identify the good and bad. Every person has both. Keep the good, skip the bad. Integrate the lessons into your own life so that you don't need the author anymore. Exactly. Another question is, I worry a lot about the outcome of any activity I perform, whether in professional or personal life. As a result of it, I feel anxious all the time. Is it normal? I really want to avoid this habit. Any suggestions? Mark Manson's answer: you should care about the outcome. You are probably just measuring the outcome too narrowly. There's value in failure, embarrassment, overcoming fears, etc. that you are not accounting for. Exactly. Another question is, how to correctly identify an emotionally abusive relationship. If the partner has made you feel so bad about yourself that you have come to believe your life would be worthless if not for the relationship, yes, exactly, that's how you identify an emotionally abusive relationship. Let's keep moving. Another question is it normal to keep falling backwards into old bad values or metrics from time to time? And how can someone keep himself in check regarding newly adopted good ones? Mark Manson's answer: yes, it's completely normal. Progress is not a straight line. It has a number of detours and loop-de-loops. Another question: how can you make peace with the past mistakes that are currently having a negative impact on your life and how to rebuild? Mark Manson's answer: find the good in the mistakes, and this prevents regret. Bring the new into your life that are not affected by those past mistakes. Bring new things into your life that are not affected by those past mistakes, and you will make peace with your past. Another question is, thoughts on how to better reflect on daily successes or failures without ascribing negative self-characterizations. Mark Manson's answer: remind yourself that you have no idea of who you are. You is just something you make up from moment to moment. Instead of arguing with yourself about something you made up, just decide that there's nothing to argue about in the first place. Exactly. The last question is, any new thoughts on finding purpose? Mark says, not really. I still think the question itself is often overrated. It's mostly a function of the things we are spending our attention on versus things we find important. If those two things don't overlap, then we won't feel a sense of purpose. If they do, we feel a sense of purpose. So guys, if you found this interesting, you can go to Twitter at @IamMarkManson or at markmanson.net to find more and read more of the questions. The questions were really a lot, and Mark Manson made an effort to answer all of them honestly and briefly. So if you enjoyed this video, you can subscribe to this channel, The Rise of the Last Series with Tyler Wroldsen, so that you don't miss out on any future videos. Thank you. I hope your questions were very helpful. Follow Mark Manson. The link is in the description. Another question is, how do you help people determine their values? Mark Manson's answer: get them to question their own motivations and then answer those questions honestly. Both are extremely hard for most people to do. Question: what important truth do very few people agree with you on? Mark Manson says, the minimization of suffering is not, nor should it be, the basis of moral decision making or behavior. Exactly. Thank you for watching.